Hello and welcome to air signs being Gemini, Libra and Aquarius. Welcome to your week ahead TarotScopes with me, Intuitive Rene. We are doing the week of the 3rd to the 9th of July 2023 using these two amazing decks. We're going to start off with the Healing with the Fairies Oracle by Doreen Virtue. This is an incredibly old deck. I have had it for many years, and it's not one I use very often, but today I wanted to go with a fairy fae kind of vibe, and I thought I would use Healing with the Fairies for a change. So we're going to start off with that Oracle deck, and then we're going to shift to the amazing Forest of Enchantment Tarot by Linnea Weatherstone and Marela Elwood. This is a firm favorite on my channel. A lot of people really like it when I use this deck because the artwork is just so gorgeous. So we're going to start off with the Oracle and then we're going to move into the Tarot. Let me move these out of the way so that we can get started. And we are starting with the Oracle. So here I have the cards, Healing with the Fairies Oracle. Let's get shuffling. So air signs, Gemini, Libra and Aquarius. As I shuffle these cards, I'm setting the intention that the card that we draw give us a good indication of what your theme for the week is going to be. What is your focus? What does your focus need to be for the week ahead? And this is the week of the 3rd to the 9th of July for Gemini, for Libra, and for Aquarius, who all share the element of air in their zodiac. So Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. What is the theme for the week ahead, and what does your focus need to be, or what will the focus of the week ahead be for you? Okay, let's cut, take a single card, put these ones away, and let's see what we have, air signs. We have got making new friends. Oh, that is lovely, making new friends. Okay, so here we have a beautiful, beautiful angel fairy, and she is making friends with the butterflies because that's what one does. Right, I'm going to leave her there for a brief second. I am going to read from the guidebook of this deck, just because, you know, sometimes there's little nuggets of information. Sometimes I don't know my alphabet, so forgive me for trying to find making new friends. Right, let's have a look and see what this actually means, what this actually entails. So it says your circle of friends and acquaintances is shifting to a higher frequency. Old friends may part ways and new ones are entering your life. So your changing interests and priorities have made a ripple effect through your entire life as your thoughts and emotions center on more spiritually nurtured topics. You are now attracting like-minded people into your life. You may find that you aren't as drawn to your old friends, or that you don't share as many common interests. The fairies ask you to not worry about these natural shifts in your life. You aren't rejecting or judging your old friends. You are just making room for growth and acknowledging the universal law of attraction. So people who are like-minded are naturally drawn to one another. So know that you deserve wonderful friends who inspire, support, understand, and compliment you. So there is an affirmation in the book as well, and the affirmation is, I am grateful for my wonderfully supportive and loving friends. Affirmations are really good. I'm going to shuffle the tarot while I'm chatting. Affirmations are really good because what an affirmation does is it helps us to shift the unconscious, subconscious thought patterns into something more positive and into something more aligned with what we want and what we need in our lives. So if you take that affirmation and you repeat it to yourself a couple of times every morning, a couple of times throughout the day, anytime you just feel a little bit anxious or concerned or worried, if you just keep repeating that or any other positive affirmation, really, it actually does help to reprogram, to retrain your thinking to be more in line with what you actually want for yourself. So that's how affirmations work. And you know, I've actually had quite a few conversations in my consults recently with people saying, oh, but you know what, I'm not enjoying my friends, or I'm noticing that friends are slipping out of my life, you know, that I don't talk to that person as much anymore, and I don't see that one as much anymore, and that person just irritates me. And I think it's because we are all going through evolutionary shift, and therefore we need to recognize that, you know, some people are just not on the same line as we are, and it's okay to let them go, and it's okay to make room for new connections and new friends. Let's dish out the tarot and see, what does making new friends look like? So the first card we have is the Ace of Spells, beautiful dragon. We have the Weaver of Visions. We have this card 0, which is the Wild Heart in this deck. And one more card, we have the Five of Visions. All right, I'm going to put the tarot away. So, air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, we have a week of making new friends. We have a week of recognizing and realizing that our energy has shifted, that our social connections have shifted. And we need to also realize that that means letting go of some people. And you don't have to have a conversation with them. You don't have to face them head on and say, actually, you know what? You and I are not gelling anymore, so I don't want to be your friend. Like, we don't do that. It's natural shifts, okay? So it's not anything that you need to do, but you need to be mindful of the shifts that are taking place. So we start off with the Ace of Spells, and here we have this gorgeous dragon who is igniting his wand, igniting his light, but he's also recognizing the power that he has. You know, this may be, I want to say, the first time. It's one, he's learning how to use his flame. He's learning how to use his spark. He's learning how to use his inspiration. And he's still got a lot to learn, but he's trying. And this is you recognizing that you are evolving, that you are changing, that you are stepping into a new version of yourself. And that means that, you know, you're not going to hang out with those dragons who can't make fire. You now can make fire. So you're going to step up and you're going to go to the next group of dragons who can make fire, but who are all still learning. You're not going to go and hang out with the masters. You're not going to go and hang out with those who've been making fire for 40 years, because you're still a noob. You're still learning. You're still, you know, an apprentice. So you're going to go and hang out with the apprentices. You're not going to hang out with the scholars. So it's about understanding the natural progression of life. And some people go quicker than others. Some take a little bit longer. Some people never progress, and that's okay. Each to their own. But it's about understanding the inspiration that you have, understanding the motivation that you have, and understanding that you're at that stage now where you are evolving, that you are growing, that you are becoming better, becoming more than. Okay. And yes, you've still got a lot to learn, but it's about progress. So there is progress, which is where the new friends are coming from. So I'm going to say to you, air signs, this week, just pay attention to your activities. Pay attention to the things that you're doing, whether it's work, whether it's school, whether it's studies, whether it's social, whatever it may be. Just pay attention and notice that you're more gravitating towards different people. The next card we have is the Weaver of Visions. So in this particular tarot deck, the Weaver would be the Queen and Visions would be the Suit of Cups. So there we have the Queen of Nurture, the Queen of Love, the Queen of Acceptance, the Queen of Support, the Queen of Kindness. And that's what you've got to be with yourself. She is also, if we look at her legs, she is also in the process of evolution, because her foot here, her leg here, has got a bit of I'm going to call it a mermaid fishtail, but this one in front has lost the mermaid fishtail because she's in process of transition. And she is nurturing herself, nurturing those around her, taking care of everybody as she transitions. Transition is change. If we take the word transition, you unpack it, you pull it apart, it is just change, okay? So you are going through radical change in your life at the moment, which is going to bring you about a whole new circle of friends, making you realize that you just connect differently with different people, and that's okay. But you need to nurture yourself through this environment, okay? Through this change, through this transition. This excites me, and I'm rushing ahead to this one because this one excites me. We have, in traditional tarot, this would be the card of the Fool. But here we have the White Heart, and we have this white stag. And it is something so special, something so unique, something so unfamiliar, okay? It's not something you see every day. And it is known to be quite the mystery and quite the... what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it now, but quite unusual, quite unexpected, and quite magical. I think when you do see it, if you're lucky enough to see the White Heart, to see the white stag, you know, you certainly are blessed. You certainly are special, because not everybody gets to see that. The Fool card, though, card 0 in the tarot system, the Fool card is about unknown beginnings. In other words, you're about to step into the world of the unknown. You do not know what to expect. You do not know what waits for you. You do not know what lies ahead, but it's about trusting. It's about believing. It's about not questioning. And this not questioning goes back to the trust, of course, but it's about just being okay with whatever happens and trusting and knowing that nothing negative is going to happen, that this is a magical time. So air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, there is going to be you connecting with a whole new realm kind of people that ordinarily you would not expect that you would gel with, that you would connect with, that you would resonate with. But it's about understanding the evolution that you're going through, the transition that you're going through, and knowing that this is truly magical. This time period that you're in now, this week, the 7 days of 3 to 9 July is going to be really, really magical, and that it is about you letting, I want to say letting go of your past, but I don't mean it in letting go of your past, but because the friends that you've had your whole life, or for the longest time, the people that you've been associated with for the longest time, we're not saying that they're not good for you, and we're not saying you may never talk to them again, but they're just not as significant in your life. This could also be, I just had the thought to say that some of you, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, some of you may be starting new jobs. Some of you may be starting new projects. Some of you may be starting a new social activity, which is bringing about new people into your life. And if none of that is changing, if you're not changing jobs, if you're not changing schools, if you're not changing hobbies, if you're not changing sport activities, if you're not joining any new social circles, just know that you are inviting, welcoming, attracting new people into your life, because you have evolved, that you have shifted. And the people that you've had in your life all along, you will still be friends with them, you will still talk to them, but maybe just not as significantly, as regularly, and as significantly as they have been in the past. And this is truly wonderful and magical. It's not something that happens very often, but right now it is important and significant for all of you. We have one card left. And air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, we have the Five of Visions. So the Five of Visions in traditional tarot would be the Five of Cups, which is the card of disappointment. And if you look at the artwork on this card, you can see that. So here we have Mr. Frog sitting on his lily pad, minding his own business. He's not getting involved in the world around him. All of a sudden, there's screams and wails and running footsteps and chaos. And he's like, what's going on? Who is disrupting my peace? And this lady, she has lost control of her ball, and her ball has run down this field, or this hill, I should say, and has now landed in the water, and she is shock, horror, gasp. Oh my gosh, my ball, I need my ball. My ball has fallen into the water. So it's not the end of the problem. I mean, end of the thing, because, you know, she can get a ball. It is going to mean that she's going to have to get wet. It is going to mean that she's going to have to climb out of her comfort zone, but she can retrieve her ball. She will retrieve her ball. But in this moment is that kind of gasp of horror, that gasp of like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? So the Five of Visions is the card of initial disappointment. It is the card of saying, oh my gosh, can things get so wrong? Can trouble. Now, you might find that looking at this, making new friends, finding new skills, talents, and recognizing your evolution, recognizing your progress, your growth, understanding that you need to nurture yourself, that you need to take care of yourself, and that you yourself are going through change, and that this is a truly magical period that you're in. It's going to upset some people. Okay, especially if you go and make that conversation, if you go up to your best friend of 20 years and say, you know what, I don't want to be your friend anymore. Obviously that's going to cause chaos, so we don't do that. All right, but understand that you may be feeling disappointed because you're having to leave people behind, because you're having to distance yourself, separate yourself from people who have been so important to you. This is Spirit saying you don't have to do so dramatic, you don't have to be so dramatic, you don't have to make such big, bold changes. Let it be subtle, because if she stands at the edge of the water there and she waits long enough, maybe the current will actually bring the ball back to her, and then she can grab it without having to get into the water. But her initial reaction is, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Her initial reaction is a negative, but if she's just patient and if she just waits it out and observes what happens, the ball might very well come back to her without her having to get wet. So this is Spirit saying to you, don't do anything. Okay, understand the message that's coming through for you here. Understand that you have evolved and grown, and that you are going to be attracting a new like-minded connection into your life. But it doesn't mean that you have to literally do anything with your current reality. Your current reality is fabulous. Your current reality is fine, but it's time to acknowledge, it's time to be mindful, it's time to open yourself up to letting new people in. And if you suddenly have a thought this week, oh, I haven't spoken to so-and-so in a while, don't make the phone call, because there's a reason we're not phoning each other every day anymore. There's a reason why we've gone from 4 times a day to twice a day to once a day to once a week to once a month, because we're just evolving in different directions. And it's not that we don't love each other, it's not that we don't like each other, we've just evolved from a friendship, from a social, from a connection point of view. We're just moving in different directions, and that's okay. Maybe she needs to let go of that ball completely. Maybe she needs to realize that she shouldn't be playing with balls anymore. But if she's patient, the current, the tides will bring the ball back to her. So don't jump into the water unless you absolutely have to. So air signs, Gemini, Libra and Aquarius, what an interesting reading indeed. Let's see what the week ahead brings for you, and what new people, what new connections and what new experiences are going to come into your space. Wishing you an amazing week ahead. Thank you for your love and support. Thank you for being here with me. And as always, with love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care.